Hey, you're just in time. I'm working on this case trying to figure out which 3 teams are going to be able to make it to Worlds in North America this year. Let me show you. I've gathered some evidence, but be warned, they're a little unusual. The first 2 are both chess pieces, a king and a rook. Assumedly they're together, but maybe whoever left these behind is really just playing chess with my mind. The next piece of evidence is a pair of Groucho glasses. I think I know who these belong to, but I'll get to that later. Lastly, both found in the same place, there is a sealed envelope with nothing written on it, no stamp, no nothing, and then a number 7 that is so big it doesn't even fit in the evidence bag. I can't see what's in the envelope yet because I'm still waiting to get fingerprints and I don't want to tamper with the evidence before that. Despite that, I'm so close to solving this case, and I think you can help. There are 8 teams who it can be. Let me catch you up on all of the information I have so far. Let's start with Dignitas. This was a red carpet event. They would be the number 1 suspect, but unfortunately here, red just means losses. Dignitas lost to every team that they played, and following their Week 6 loss to Disguised, were eliminated from playoffs altogether. After that loss, their jungler XU complained about the team's horrendous mentality in an interview with Cloud Sitke. The only change that they made in between the splits was replacing their top laner Photon with a North American rookie named Denethor. I don't think that change is enough for them to be able to make playoffs, but maybe they'll prove me wrong. Next up is Disguised. Things were looking good week 1 after their 2-1 win against Sentinels. But the next 4 weeks, they lost 0-2 consecutively, which brought them back down. It looked like bad was turning to worse when Lion took one of their top players in Castle. Disguised picked up Surdy in order to replace him, and they actually won the first game with Surdy as their new top laner. However, that was just a win against Dignitas, and then a loss in the last week against Shopify Rebellion ended their season short. I think realistically, this team could compete for the last playoff spot, but in order to do that, they would 100% have to play better than the sum of their parts. Shopify Rebellion. They ended week 1 as the number 1 ranked team because they were the only team to win without dropping a single game that week. They then went on to only win 1 game in their next 5 series combined. They barely scraped into playoffs with a 2-0 win against Disguised, being carried by Contracts, who had a 24-17 performance on Wukong and Olaf. Despite that, they got swept by Team Liquid in the playoffs. Their support Seos left after the split was over, and they ended up bringing back their old support Zazel. They also hired David Hahn to be their general manager. He is someone who has gone on the record to say he wants his North American players to be the superstars of his team. I don't think Shopify Rebellion is going to be able to do heavy damage this year, but I do think that they actually are starting to have a bright future ahead of them. Sentinels had a very mixed spring split. HawkTheDog won a free Sentinels jersey from a trivia contest. Congrats to him. I hear the only way to win in Sentinels trivia is if you're really smart and really handsome, but what do I know? They ended up winning an online tournament with all of the LCS teams in order to qualify for EWC. Despite that online success, they had a pretty unimpressive LCS split. They only won 3 of their 7 matches, and then they ended up getting swept by FlyQuest to be eliminated from playoffs. Some might say that they are a fraudulent team that only qualifies for Mickey Mouse invitationals like EWC and America's Cup. And to that I say, America's Cup is a legit tournament. Entering the top 4 from Spring Split, we have FlyQuest. They're the first team we have seen so far with All-Pro candidates, with Gat Ghost making 3rd team All-Pro, and Quad and Masu making second team. FlyQuest became fan favorites after pulling out picks like Nasus Jungle in their win over Lion, and by the personalities of the players like Griffin, who started calling himself and Gatghost Big G. Hell, after they got eliminated by Team Liquid in playoffs, they still took a road trip down to Arizona and hosted an after party for the fans that were there. This team is young, hungry, and only getting more dangerous as time passes. Cloud9, Clown9, Choke9, whatever you want to call them, it probably fits. They had the best regular season in the league with an undefeated split. Blabber and APA made third team All-Pro, with Vulcan and Thanatos making first team. Vulcan also went on to win the MVP of the whole split. They had all these regular season accolades, but the only thing that matters is if they would qualify for an international, which they haven't done since 2023. After getting swept by Lion and Team Liquid in playoffs, the answer to that question would be no. After these losses, there were some big changes that occurred. Inero stepped down as head coach for personal reasons, which means that I Will Dominate got promoted to the head coach of the team. They also lost their general manager, David Hahn, who went to go take the job with Shopify Rebellion. Cloud9 picked up 2 new players, with Tactical in the ADC position and Loki returning to the mid lane. Even with these additions, they are still keeping APA and Sven, which means they are having a 7-man roster for Summer Split. To try and help with that, Cloud9 also added Yamato Cannon as a remote assistant coach, and Fugitive's own Bop, also known as Arrow, as an ADC positional coach. Will these changes finally be enough for Cloud9 to be able to make it to an international, or are there just going to be too many cooks in the kitchen? Now, onto the 2 teams that made it to MSI, starting with Team Liquid Alienware. They started the season strong, going 5-0 in their first 5 weeks. They were tied for first with Cloud9. Jose Dioto was playing incredible, and he was the front runner for the MVP award. However, they finished the regular season with losses to both Lion and Cloud9, which eventually took that MVP away from Jose's hands. He still got first team All-Pro Jungle, along with his teammate Morgan, who got second team All-Pro in the top lane, and then Jan and Core JJ getting third team in the ADC and support position. In playoffs, Team Liquid lost their first series in a Game 5 against Lion, but then they went on to make a lower bracket run, beating Shopify, FlyQuest, and eventually C9 to be able to stamp their place into MSI. Before discussing how Team Liquid did at MSI, let's talk about the team that swept them in the championship, Lion. After coming back from a pretty lackluster first stand, Lion lost their first match against Cloud9. Immediately, they bounced back, winning their next 4 games. After that 5th week of play, they ended up signing Castle, who was going to split time with Dokla. Over the next 2 weeks, Castle played 3 games. Each one of those games was a loss. Those would be the only games he played for Lion, as he would announce he is leaving on July 1st. Lion finished second in the regular season, with Inspired and Isles making second team All-Pro, and Saint and Berserker solidifying their position as the best player in their role in the league at first team All-Pro. Lion made the upper bracket run, beating Team Liquid, Cloud9, and then Team Liquid again to win their second championship of the year. They qualified straight to the main tournament, unlike Team Liquid, who will have to fight their way through a play-in bracket in order to advance. MSI play-ins. Team Liquid did lose their first match to the reigning world champions and the second seed of the LCK T1. Just like MSI's main tournament, the play-ins is a double elimination tournament, which means Team Liquid still had a chance, and they went and played the LCP's second seed in Deep Cross Gaming, which they swept 3-0. Keeping that streak alive, they went on to play the LEC's second seed in Carmen Corp and also swept them 3-0. That meant now, in order to advance, they were going to get a rematch against T1. Okay, now this is where it gets crazy, and you might not believe me, but reputable sources have said that they didn't play the games and they let a coin flip decide who won, and Team Liquid won, and it wasn't just a 3-0 T1 again, and I'm definitely not making this up. Wow, what an accomplishment for North America. It is also reported that the team consisting of top laner Dorgan, jungler Jose Dioner, mid laner Faquid, ADC Payon, and support Korea JJ will be going under the name T1 for the rest of the tournament. Nice! Unfortunately, T1's luck ran short, only ending up beating the CBLOL's #1 seed Infuria's 3-0 before losing to LEC's #1 seed G2 3-1. Lion had a better time in the tournament, also going against Furia, but in their first match, which they also swept 3-0. They then lost to the LPL's first seed in BLG, but it's okay because they got to go down to the lower bracket. In the lower bracket, they ended up facing off against the LCP's first seed in Team Secret Wales, which they also swept 3-0. Continuing this trend, they faced the LEC's first seed G2, and in revenge for T1, they also swept them 3-0. That win actually earned them top 3 at this year's MSI. In the lower bracket final, the run ended once again with Inspired losing in Game 5 to an Eastern team. Despite the heartbreaking loss against Hanwha Life, Lion had a great tournament and finished the best that North America has ever finished at an international since 2019. We also cemented ourselves as Europe's fathers. All right, now that we're all caught up, what does that have to do with the evidence at hand? Well, I think I have the first two figured out. The team that left the chess pieces was Lion. The king and the rook are the two pieces you need in order to castle in chess. And they were also found the same day that Castle had left Lion. Saint and Berserker looked like the clear best in their role, and Inspired, when he wants to be, looks like he is the best player in all of the West. He will be out for the first couple of weeks of Summer Split. Armeo will be replacing him, but I would honestly be shocked if they don't make Worlds despite possibly starting slow. The Groucho glasses have to represent Team Liquid. Because I mean, just look at T1. The recent meta changes have allowed Core JJ and Quid to be able to play freely, and they look a lot better. And it feels like we are finally seeing that Team Liquid team from scrims that we were promised at the beginning of the year. Barring a pretty major meta shift, I think Team Liquid should make Worlds. Now for the last pieces of evidence, the letter and the 7, my first instinct was to say Cloud9, considering that they have a 7-man roster, and also the other teams that played in Arizona are already accounted for. But I just feel like they're not gonna do it. Like they're a red herring. Despite all of the changes, Blabber is still their jungler, and I also don't know what their connection to the letter is, which has to be somewhat related to the 7. I mean, wait, what's the 7th letter? Oh, that's it. That's it. It is Big G. FlyQuest are the last team that is going to make it to Worlds. They have been scaling and getting better all year. They are creative with picks like Nasus Jungle in a meta that currently encourages creativity, showing the Mages bot and crazy supports. The evidence was found the same day as FlyQuest's after party in Arizona, and of course, the 7th letter of the alphabet is Big G. But that's just what I think. But let me know what you think. If you agree, if you think I missed something, or if you have your own conspiracy that you want to share, leave it below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss out on the next video that I put out. But until then, I'm HawkTheDog, and I'll see you next time.